Hello, and welcome to another episode of Skyrim Plus. Today I'm featuring Quaint Tower by Rose HLA. Let's check out the map. Here we are at Quaint Tower. We're right next to the roadside ruins, Falkreath Watchtower, Falkreath, Cracktusk Keep, and here we are again at our featured home, Quaint Tower. And here's a view from the outside of the home. It's a large stone tower out in nature. You have some windows on either side of the front door. We have a goat wandering around, and I brought both of my adopted children, Sophie and Lucia, with me. On the left side of the door, there's a wood chopping block and woodcutter's axe for your firewood needs. And then on the right side of the door, you have a bench. And right by the corner of the bench, you'll find the key for the home. Before we head inside, let's see what we have around the outside of the property. On the right side of the home, you have a small vegetable garden with leeks, cabbages, potatoes, and wheat. That's great to have a source of food without having to go into town. And check out this lush green forest. Who wouldn't want to live out here? Here are a couple of harvestable chicken nests, and you can see the chickens wandering around. You have a tanning rack for your leather crafting needs. And here's a stable for your horse, so they have some shelter if it starts raining. And now we'll go around this rock really quickly. And when we head around to the other side of the rock, we find a bench where you can sit out and enjoy beautiful days like this. And then we find a pond and a private fishing dock. You can see some of the fish floating around in the water. There's a light for night. You can see the animals wandering about in the background, and this is just a gorgeous spot to sit and relax. And before we head inside, I wanted to show you that around the back of the home, there are stairs built into these rocks that lead up to a ladder that you can climb to get on top of your rooftop deck, which has lots of spots for your followers to sleep. We'll see this in greater detail towards the end of the tour, but I just wanted to show you the stairway first. And now that we've seen all of the outdoor features, let's head inside. Here's the inside of the Quaint Tower. When you enter, you have a bench and a chair for seating, as well as 4 shield plaques to show off some of your favorite shields. I love the texture of the stone, and the moss looks great on these walls. Here's a wood pile and a window that reflects the time of day. And now we'll go and explore our next space. And here's an area for your followers and family to congregate. There's a fire in the middle of the room with some ventilation and a cooking pot for your cooking needs. You have a bedroll right next to the fire where a follower can stay. Here are another couple of cots for followers, a shrine to Kynareth, and a bookshelf for the scholars of Skyrim. There are some instruments to entertain your guests, some mounted animal heads, a butter churn, and a large dining table for meals with family and friends. You can see Inigo and my daughters enjoying the space already. Right below the window, you have an alchemy lab for the budding alchemist of Skyrim to concoct their potions. And here's a place to store your fish and clean them so they're ready to eat. As we head back out, you can see that we have banners on either side of the front door. And we have some training dummies to hone our combat skills. I should also mention that the home has tons of idle markers, so your family and followers will have tons to do. Now we'll head upstairs, and while we head that way, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And as we reach the top of the stairs, we find a space for 2 children to stay. There's a shelf to store some of their toys, and they both have a bed and a knapsack to store their things. Look at that little doll under the bed. I should have had them clean up their toys before you came over. Okay, now that we've seen the children's area, let's head into the master suite. As we head into the master, we find some mannequins to display some of our favorite armor sets, some shield plaques, and a boss chest. You can see Faendal showing off one of the idle markers. And then we have a display wall to show off some of our favorite weapons and shields. If you like these shields, these are from the mod Legendary Alpha Shields 2, which is my favorite shield mod. I've recommended this mod in several of my past videos, but it's worth recommending again. On this dresser and around the room, you'll find several enchanted pieces of armor and a weapon, so you may want to check those out. And then here's our bed that gives a well-rested bonus. You can see one of the armor pieces I was referring to earlier on the bed. And here's another on this cabinet by the Falkreath shield. There are some enchanted boots next to the wardrobe where you can store some of your clothes, and there's a shrine of Mare and Zenithar right next to that. And as we turn, we find another bookshelf and a cozy spot to sit by the fire, which also has ventilation. I hope I can eat that sweet roll before Faendal finds it. There's a ladder that leads up to the rooftop deck, but before we head over there, let's go to the desk and check out this journal. Excuse me, Faendal. This journal gives the player a speech bonus, as well as a backstory about the former owner. He was the son of bandits, ran away from them and traveled to Falkreath, and was raised by the people at the inn. He renovated this tower because the Jarl wouldn't let him build, but now he wants to go and explore since he's only ever seen Falkreath and Whiterun, thus the empty home. And now that we know about the backstory, let's go check out the roof. And here we are on our rooftop deck, where we find the home's chimney, some chairs to sit around the fire, where everyone can trade stories of their adventures, and 5 bedrolls scattered around that followers can use to sleep under the stars. Some are out in the open, and some are under tents like these. There's a knapsack, and when you look over the edge, you can see some of the nearby sites, like the roadside ruins. Just be careful for Spriggans if you go over there. They're dangerous. There's the hatch door that we used to get up here. There's a picnic table and some ale on the other side. And then if we go over to these stairs and then we take a look over, we find the ladder and stairs that I showed you at the beginning of the tour. And now that we've seen the roof and all of the other features of this home, it's time for final thoughts. Quaint Tower is a nature lover's home in the forests of Falkreath. It offers a double bed for you and your spouse, beds for 2 kids, 2 cots and a bedroll downstairs, as well as another 5 bedrolls on the rooftop for your followers. There's a wood chopping block, a stable for your horse, a small vegetable garden, harvestable chickens' nests, a tanning rack for leather crafting, and my favorite feature, an amazing pond and deck to fish and soak in the sun. The home offers a butter churn, a cooking pot for your cooking needs, a lab for the budding alchemist, plenty of spots to display weapons and shields, and mannequins to show off your favorite armor sets. You have a shrine of Kynareth, shrines of Mare and Zenithar, and several pieces of enchanted armor scattered around the master suite. If you're looking for a small family home with plenty of room for followers, Quaint Tower could work well for you. This concludes my tour of Quaint Tower. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified of when I post, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next episode.